I'd like to begin by telling you a story. When I first heard that the Miku movie was coming out, I was excited for it. I just knew that I really wanted to see it. But I didn't really think much of it, and I was doing some other projects at the time, so right around when the release date came out at around April 17th, that is the release date in America, I just completely forgot about it, and I was doing my own thing. Last weekend, I was at my local library scrolling through my Instagram feed, and I saw pictures of the Miku movie, and it came to me, oh shoot, the Miku movie's been out for like 2 weeks now. So I looked up showtimes in movie theaters, and to my luck, there happened to have been a Miku movie that was showing at a theater that happened to be 30 minutes away from me. The showtime for the movie was in 30 minutes. So, after wrestling with my conscience for about half a second, I decided I was driving to see that movie. Like, there was nothing that was going to stop me. So I texted my roommate saying that I was going to be home late because I was going to see the movie, and I didn't think much of it from there, because I believed that it was going to be standalone. Surely, this movie would not have content that I need to see in order to get a clear picture of how the movie plays out. Surely, I would not make that mistake a third time. I don't understand how it's possible. Why does it keep happening to me? How was I supposed to know that the movie had prior content that I needed to see before going over to see it? I had 30 minutes to get from my local library to the movie theater, skipped out on getting my bubble tea beforehand, even though my throat was parched and I was really thirsty, and I went in, thought that I was there on time, thinking that I had the best seat in the house, getting ready to have a good time with this movie, and I totally did, by the way, only to find that I had prerequisites that I needed to watch! Not to worry, I am a big boy now. I am handling my anger in a calm and constructive way. It's not fair. I demand justice for people like me, where this circumstance just happens. You happen to find yourself in it. Why can't movies just stand alone? So yeah, if you didn't know already, the Miku movie is not Vocaloid the movie like I initially thought it was. It's actually based on the game that has Miku in it, referred to as Project Sekai. So if I were to give you a brief rundown of Project Sekai, it's basically a visual novel-esque game where you get to choose between one of 5 band groups. Each band group having its own specific character, and each character having their own backstory, etc. But you can choose to follow one of these groups where everybody has their own drama, they're starting to form a band, they want everything to work out, and along the line, Miku comes in. Everybody meets with Miku in their own universe, in their own world separate from Earth, referred to as a Sekai. A Sekai is kind of like, I guess, a stylized home for Miku and the Vocaloids to hang out with that resembles the band that you choose. So, for example, I think one of the rock bands had a high school as their Sekai, their separate universe. An idol group that you can choose to play as, their Sekai is an idol stage that has glow sticks that cover the entire area. And it's worth noting that every band has their own Sekai, their own Miku, and their own story that currently gets updates to this day. So this is something that I cannot stress enough. If you're going to see the Miku movie, I highly recommend watching the Journey to Bloom animations that cover each band's backstory, so that way you have a better picture of the characters that get introduced. Because in the first 5 minutes of the movie, you're just introduced to these characters one after the other, and it is just sensory overload. That was one of my biggest complaints before I realized that the movie was more or less a video game adaptation. You'll find all the Journey to Bloom animations on the Project Sekai YouTube channel, which I'll put a link to all the videos in the description below. Each one of them is about 5 minutes. It will only take about 25 minutes of your time. Each 5-minute short is done by the same animation studio that did the Miku movie, and it just paints a clearer picture overall, so you'll understand a little bit more of what's going on when you go into the movie. However, if you find yourself in a weird scenario where you don't have 25 minutes to watch shorts, but you do have 20 minutes to watch a YouTube video, then I highly recommend a video by Missed Combos with Laura Newsith, who goes over the Project Sekai game in brief. It's concise, it covers background information that I will probably miss. There's a tiny little avatar that looks cute and explains the whole game to you, which not only drew my attention, but also had the added effect of making me want to play the game. And I will also provide a link to that video in the description below. But what did I think of the movie? Well, allow me to give you some solace as a guy who went in there completely blind, not knowing what the movie was going to be about, thinking that it probably was going to be a Miku origin story. Despite the fact that I did not understand what was going on in the first half hour of the movie, I quickly picked up on it, and it was something that I was able to piece together so that way the second half of the movie became an entertaining watch. And needless to say, musical numbers, great. animation done by PA Works, beautiful work, and the plot was not bad. It's not the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it's still a really good story that I did not expect from a movie that was centered around Miku. Now, of course, my blind fandom would have said that the movie was good either way. In fact, I still found it more enjoyable. I think the higher powers don't like my review already. I didn't go into the Miku movie with high expectations. Now, I'm a blind Miku fan. I was going to love the movie no matter what. But I was expecting to go in there, see it, think, oh wow, that was pretty cute, and then walk out of there. What I did not expect was the movie to give me a interesting take, an interesting philosophy that it tries to tell its audience, while also working its way around the problem in a creative way that I haven't seen in any movie before or since. So to tell you about the philosophy of the Miku movie, I'm going to need to spoil something. I highly recommend watching the movie yourself, after watching the Journey to Bloom animations, of course, because it gives you your best opinion and interpretation of the movie. However, if you don't care about me spoiling it for you and you want to continue on, then you are a disappointment. But not to me. Look at her hiding that sadness behind her happy gaze. Don't you want to give her your money? So the philosophical core of the movie, not necessarily the main message of the movie, because I think that the main message or theme is just never give up. Because Miku is going to never give up for you, so why should you? But the philosophical core of the movie, in my opinion, is you can't reach everybody with one type of music. So I want you to play with this idea for a sec, of a world where there are multiple Mikus out there, these different Sekai, where one Miku in particular, from one particular Sekai, really wants to sing to people, but can't. She really wants to reach people who are disappointed in life, who have reached the end of their rope, who are ready to give up. But her voice isn't reaching them. However, her voice can reach others, and the people that she reaches are the 5 different group members that you can find in the Project Sekai game. So she meets with each one of them individually, and the movie cuts between the interactions. And I should mention that these band groups, while they interact with Miku, they don't interact with other band groups. Like, as far as they know, the other band groups don't exist. They're kind of just in their own little bubble. But each one of them interacts with the Miku Who Can't Sing in their own private scenes. From these different band groups that Miku is able to reach and talk to, she's able to get different perspectives about what it means to sing, so she finally learns how to have a voice and to sing to people. But as it turns out, Miku is more than capable of singing and has been able to sing the entire time, but she mistakes her inability to sing for people who just don't like Vocaloid music. So the reason she can't reach some people is because they're just not a fan of her music, and so they just tune her out and think that she's white noise, which means they need to be purged. So the problem then becomes, Miku has a song she wants to sing for these people, but they can't hear it. Or rather, they don't want to hear it. How do we get Miku's message to these people that don't want to hear her? Well, the movie has a really clever way of going around this problem. And in my opinion, it justifies why the movie had so many characters. Because while you can't reach everybody with just one type of music, that doesn't mean you can't reach people by changing the genre or the style at which it's performed. These 5 different band groups, they come from different backgrounds and perform different things. One of them is an idol group, another one is a rock band, another one does artistic music videos and synth, all of which different styles and genres. Not everybody likes idol groups, not everybody likes rock music, but they could like another style of music that exists. So if you take Miku's message and turn it into a different type of song and then play that to these people, you have a better chance of spreading that message. And that's exactly what the movie does. And I have to add, during the sequence where there are these multiple bands playing and singing different lyrics, it was phenomenal. PA Works really outdid itself with the animation. I am just a sucker for dance sequences like that, and I think they did an amazing job, and the movie is definitely worth it for that alone. But after that, of course, Miku has to come out and be the heroine, because after everybody's warmed up and they've listened to her message, she then comes out, does a big concert that everybody loves, because Miku is great and perfect and beautiful, and we all love Miku, and this is not the words of a hive mind. You should listen to Miku. Go do it right now. And I think it pairs really well for the never give up theme of the movie. There's always more than one solution to a problem, so if Miku won't give up, why should you? That's kind of the message that I get out of Miku's songs too, so it really shows that the director and the writers really cared about Hatsune Miku and wanted this movie to be made. And that's the best anybody could hope for when making a movie around a popular character that everybody's already invested in. In a weird way, that's how the movie reached me. I didn't cry during it, I didn't think that it was great, I didn't think that it was horrible, but it was unique. I hope you guys go see the movie too, because despite things that I might have revealed, it's still a pretty entertaining watch. And hopefully after watching the Journey to Bloom animations and getting a better idea of who the characters are, you'll have a better, clearer picture of it. And I didn't spoil everything. I didn't spoil the concert that Miku gives you at the end credits of the movie. Damn it. Technically that was my first Miku concert, and I thought that it was cool. I want to see more in the future. Once I finally go to Japan, it's going to be one of the first things that I do, and it is going to be awesome. I want to play the Project Sekai game. I just want to... I'm glad that I saw this movie. That's the main takeaway. And hopefully, if you guys got anything out of it, it's that you need to see this movie too, because it's adorable and I'd say it's worth your time. But anyway, that's all I got for you. Sayonara, suckers. Justice.